evening and thanks for joining us on Nationwide. Today I am Elizabeth Omori. President Bola Tinubu expresses deep sense of grief over the passing of the Olubadan Oba Mohud Lekun Balogun Ali Okumade II. The president condoles with the family of the Olubadan, the government of Oyo State, the Olubadan in Council, the Oyo State Traditional Council, and the entire people of Oyo State over the loss. President Tinubu, however, celebrates the late monarch's remarkable life of service to his people, the state, and the nation, describing him as a compassionate, courageous, and an unrelenting advocate of the pristine ideals of peace, honesty, and unity, whose counsel will be greatly missed. President Tinubu urges all who are in mourning to find solace in the immortal legacies of the Olubadan, stating that the Olubadan lives eternally in his good deeds and in the memories of everyone touched by the majesty of his essence. The president prays for the repose of the soul of the departed and comfort for those who mourn him. Now, the federal government has allocated 100 billion naira in the 2024 budget to aid the revival of the manufacturing sector in the area of consumer credit. Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, confirmed this while shedding light on the implementation of the 2024 Appropriation Act. Nekauko reports.
The minister said the approved 2024 budget is 28.77 trillion naira from 27.5 trillion naira presented by the president, an increase of 1.2 trillion naira. The additional funding was factored in to account for exchange rate dynamics.
When we presented the budget, we presented an exchange rate of 750 naira to a dollar. But the National Assembly, in its wisdom, adjusted the exchange rate to 800 naira to a dollar. Therefore, that created more revenue. And equally, the National Assembly requested or appropriated that the government-owned enterprises that contribute revenue should also contribute more. And that was the source of the additional funding for the budget.
The infusion of 100 billion naira into consumer credit, according to the minister, is expected to provide the much-needed boost to the economy as it will help in the revival of the manufacturing sector. The minister stressed that the clarification on 2024 budget implementation became necessary to enhance transparency and ensure that all relevant stakeholders, including the media, are on the same page regarding budget priorities, spending plans, and expected outcomes. In Abuja, Nekauko, NTA News.
In the Chairman's Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, Senator Yemi Adaramodu says no number of lies will distract the 10th Senate under Senator Godswill Akpabio as it remains committed to delivering good legislations and effective oversights. It says the call for resignation of the President of the Senate by the People's Democratic Party in relation to budget pardon allegation was unthinkable as he has not committed any wrong. Adaramodu added that those alleging budget pardon failed to substantiate claims on live television. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has asked the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, to lift its ban on the production of alcoholic beverages in sachets and PET bottles, saying the ban was ill-timed considering socio-economic realities. Adopting the report and recommendations of its header committee, chaired by Representative Regina Akume, at the Committee of the Whole, the House at Thursday's plenary advocates strict registration, regulations, and more enlightenment against sales of alcohol in motor parks and underage consumption.
That the ban should be lifted because the timing is inappropriate, given the fact that the economy is struggling, unemployment rate is staggering, and the inflation rate is soaring while the poverty level is on the increase.
This encourages NAFDAC, manufacturers, and the public to nonetheless prepare for a return to the ban on alcoholic beverages in sachets and PET bottles in the future. Issues of concession, illegal operators and loss of revenue in the maritime industry took center stage as the House of Representatives Committee on Privatization and Commercialization engages key players in the sector. National Assembly correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali brings us details.
Here are officials of the Ministry of Transportation, Nigerian Ports Authority, Bureau of Public Enterprises, and that of Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission to brief lawmakers on the situation on ground. The interface resolves for a long-term investment and repairs of some of the equipment at the ports to meet the required standard in the maritime sector.
Anybody who wishes our port system better would ask for something different.
We recognize that over usage, that some of the access things there must have maybe depreciated or with time.
In ENL, which is one of the terminals, Bed 7 has completely collapsed, is not in use, and is threatening other quays. If you go to Tinkan, Bed 4A, Bed 4, 8, 9, and 10, they are all partially collapsed.
The demand of the modern day is that the port needs to be modernized, and I think the terminal operator themselves are not against that. But however, sir, I want to say this thing because we are mentioning the word agreement. A concession agreement is not a static document.
The committee faulted some of the submissions by the stakeholders on the concession process.
The aim of this meeting is to find a way of coming to conclusion to this deal so that these terminal operators will not be operating illegally. And you have said that government is not losing money. Government is losing money. What they are paying now is not what they are supposed to pay.
The committee has given an extension of 6 months to address the lasting prolonged renewal process of concession in transport sector, within which terminal operators will legally operate. From the National Assembly, Mohammed Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
And the newly inaugurated executive members of the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria have been charged to be good ambassadors of the association and embrace peace and unity as their motivating factors. The challenge was thrown to the Lagos State executive members during their inauguration held in Abuja. Omen Kamarachiko will bring us details of this report subsequently. We now join our correspondents in Ibadan to give us updates on the burial ceremony of the late Olubadan. Kehinde, thank you so much for joining us on Nationwide. Can you give us a few words on the ambience over there?
Has just been moved out for the Janaza prayers. With me at the palace of the Olubadan is Balogun Gafar Ojetola, executive member, Central Council of Ibadan Indigenes. Sir, how do you feel with the demise of the Olubadan of Ibadan?
We are deeply saddened. We are bereaved. We have lost a father in a million. We have lost a peace advocate. We have lost a bridge builder. We have lost our royal father. We have lost an incredibly passionate, patriotic Ibadan son, Ibadan father, and the royal father of all the Ibadans. We will miss him for all the incredible things he stands for. It's very difficult for us to say that Baba was an achieved person, a well-educated king, a well-traveled king, somebody who aspired for everything and God gave everything to.
All right, sir. Very soon, prayers will be held for the late Olubadan.
Yes.
Now, when is the next Olubadan coming on?
Thank you very much. You see, the Ascension institution in Ibadan land is very, very stress-free. We know who is the Olubadan designate.
When will it be?
The governor will have to announce that officially. It is not meant for myself. The governor will seek the directive of the Olubadan in council, and they will agree on a particular date. The Olubadan designate is the current Balogun of Ibadan land.
Thank you very much,
the person of Baba Owolabi Olakuleyin. There's no controversy about that. Ibadan has a system that works perfectly. We know who is the next person. We know who comes after that. We up till 46 rungs.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Now, the late Olubadan, the janaza for the late Olubadan will hold very, very soon. The chief imam is there, and arrangements are being made for the janaza prayer.
Thank you so much, Kehinde, and we hope to get more updates from you. Thank you very much. And Omenka Amarachuku's report on RETEN's 12th Lagos Delegate Conference held here in Abuja is now ready.
Maintaining peace in Lagos is one of the most priority of this country, and we don't want and we cannot allow anybody who will instigate or cause problems.
That was the inauguration and swearing-in ceremony of the Lagos State Executives of the Road Transport Employees Association of Nigeria, RETEN, during the 12th Lagos State Conference held at RETEN headquarters in Abuja. The election and inauguration of the new leadership is coming following the intervention of the federal government in resolving the dispute between RETEN and Lagos State government.
We want to show that truly we have forgiven ourselves. Let we come together and operate together.
I also thank the electoral committee, Alaji Bishara and his experts. Should they give me this assignment to do in Lagos State, I pledge that I will do my best and I will carry the return to it.
The newly elected chairman Lagos State RETEN, Suleiman Raji Jaffo, promised to lead by example and move the association forward. In Abuja, Omenka Marchku, NTA News.
A bit on education, starting with quality education, everything it takes to give Nigerian children a good future will be done by the current administration. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu made this promise while flagging off the distribution of free exercise books to public primary school pupils and junior secondary school students across the country. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
Salute! Set up! A guard of honor mounted by a detachment of students from Power International School, Abuja, was waiting for Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, and the RHI team when they arrived at the venue to flag off another milestone in the Renewed Hope Education Support Program. The distribution of over 1 million exercise books to pupils in public schools and students in junior secondary schools across the country will see each state and the FCT getting 50,000 copies, except for Lagos and Kano states that are allotted 100,000 copies each under the intervention. During a symbolic presentation of the books to the wife of Kogi State Governor Sefiat Ododo and the Executive Secretary of Universal Basic Education Commission, Hamid Boboyi, the First Lady says nothing is too much to support the future of Nigerian children.
We might do this every year so that to all our schools, so that we can at least carry some of your burden. So we'll see what else we can do. Education is very vital. So for our young people looking at me today, you need to stay in school. All right? Do whatever it takes for you. Don't join bad gangs. Don't crumble under peer pressure.
She appealed to state coordinators of RHI to monitor the distribution and ensure that the exercise books get to intended beneficiaries. Applauding the First Lady's passion for children, the Executive Secretary for UBEC says the intervention will address some gaps in the school system.
Requires somebody who has an interest in education to recognize this particular lacuna that is there in the system. An eagle eye who would say, yes, textbooks are there and so on and so forth, but are the children getting the exercise books?
With the official flag off, benefiting states and the FCT are expected to take immediate delivery for onward distribution to schools. In Abuja, Adeni Itawo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, leadership of the Nigeria Police Force is taking steps towards meeting the educational needs of children of police officers at the Mopo 24 base, Pape, Abuja. Francis From reports that wife of the Inspector General of Police, Elizabeth Egbetokun, was at the base to perform the foundation laying of the Police Children's School.
Mopo 24 Mpape Abuja is the base in charge of presidential escort, and the base cannot boast of a befitting children's school for officers and men of the force. As a result, the children have been attending schools outside of the base. However, soccer is now coming their way as wife of the Inspector General of Police, Elizabeth Egbetokun, lays a foundation for the construction of police school.
Education is the cornerstone of progress, and the construction of this school symbolizes our unwavering commitment to providing quality education to every child.
Force Education Officer assures that when completed, the school will alleviate the challenges parents face in sending their children to schools across the highway in Asokoro and its environs.
The standard will be in line with police schools tradition, where we focus on quality education and nurturing young minds to become responsible global citizens and solution providers.
Daily risks being faced by our kids are very high, but today, to God be all the glory. These projects will mark the beginning of soccer to us.
The school is expected to start academic session in September 2024. Francis from NTA News.
Still talking education, the Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdrazak has appealed to the management of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, for support in the upgrade of the 3 colleges of education in the state to universities of education. The governor, who made the appeal when he visited the fund, listed the 3 colleges of education for conversion into universities to include Kwara State College of Education, Oro, Kwara State College of Education, Technical, Lafiaji, and Kwara State College of Education, Ilorin. He revealed that most of the colleges of education, which are state-owned, are faced with management challenges, including infrastructure, poor investment, and lopsidedness, where the non-teaching staff are far more than the academic staff of their institutions. He commended TET Fund for its massive interventions in both federal and state public tertiary institutions across the country.
You go to many states and visit institutions, and you begin to realize at these TET Fund universities, I will commend you to continue to do what you're doing. For example, in Kwara, we have the best university library in West Africa.
Executive Secretary of TET Fund, Sonny Echono, pledged to increase its intervention to tertiary institutions in the state, pledging to help the state actualize its dream of converting the colleges of education into universities. Now to security matters. The emerging security threats in the nation's capital, Abuja, requires multidimensional approach to tackle. Police Community Relations Committee is a dependable ally in this regard, supporting the fight against crime and criminality in the FCT. Tessie Omeri takes a look at the role of this volunteer group.
Established in 1984, the Police Community Relations Committee, PCRC, is expected to provide complementary roles to the police so as to ensure security of Abuja. In fact, the committee is expected to prevent, prosecute, and fight crimes at all levels.
To work closely with the police so that there can be harmonious coexistence between the police and the community, and the PCRC has equally provided quite a number of logistics support in building and barracks, support in the offices, to ensure the office are conducive, and also provided some other items like vehicles, repair of vehicles, and also the most important aspect of it, the provision of the intelligence information to the police.
It's a volunteer
department that relate with the police. Come to the police closely and also assist the police in the area of relationship, because police alone cannot do it. So they need us, we need them. So they need us in the area of crime fighting. It's just like a community policing. That's it. So they are part of the community policing.
40 years after, there is need to take stock on the journey so far and review approach to addressing contemporary security challenges.
There is need for them to strengthen their collaboration more with the police, and they should be our ears out there in the community. They should be able to give us more information than what they are giving us, and also let us know some of these issues being raised by members of the public.
With access to community, there are conversations on the need to engage the locals, which the committee says is on the right path.
The police will need to give the community, the citizens, the confidence that they will be able to work on the information given to them by the community. So by so doing, that synergy, if there's the synergy between the community and the policemen, it will go a long way to curb insecurity in the society.
If the community works with the police, I think it will help the security of the area, so that when a visitor invade the community, they will help with the police with the informations.
Apart from food and shelter, security should be the hallmark of everything. Without security, there can be no meaningful development.
Sustaining engagement while promoting healthier relationship between the community and the police, stakeholders say is apt and will go a long way in the fight against crime. In Abuja, Tessie Omeri, NTA News.
And joining us live is Tessie Omeri to share more light on security complementing. Tessie, thank you for joining us on Nationwide. Tessie, thank you so much for joining us on Nationwide.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
All right. Now, the rationale behind the establishment of the police community relations has been established, but can one say the committee has achieved its objectives?
Yes, Elizabeth, you know, security needs multi-dimensional approach because police cannot be everywhere at all the time. So there is need for collaboration between members of the public and the police. And that is the reason why the establishment of the Police Community Relations Committee in 1984 by the then Inspector General of Police, Etim Inyang. His idea is to use members of the public to enhance security by the way of proper collaboration. If members of the community are at home with the police, issue of information sharing will be easy. And I would say that from my findings, they have achieved that to some extent because they have been able to provide the police with proper intelligence for them to fight crime. They have been able to engage with members of the public. They have been able to help in issue of attitudinal change for members of the public. As the way they look at the police, they are changing their perspective, making them to believe that police is actually your friend, and that if we work together, we can achieve success. So I would say to some extent, they have achieved that goal, but then it's work in progress.
It is work in progress. All right, yeah, you mentioned the year it was established, 1984. It is quite a long time. Tell us, what is the composition of this committee?
The committee is made up of leadership from the national level down to the units.
We do apologize for that hitch, but thank you so much, Tessie, for the updates. It's time to head to Lagos for more reports where Adiola is standing by.
Thank you, Elizabeth. The federal government recently announced that it will distribute 42,000 metric tons of grains across all states of the Federation To cushion the effects of the economic hardship facing Nigerians, many have described the idea as a great one, but are calling on relevant authorities to ensure that the grains get to the right people.
Eunice Rotimi, a point-of-sale POS operator, has dependents whom she caters for, with proceeds from her business. This is not the best of times for her, as she spends more than usual on feeding. So, each day, she hopes for more profit to enable her put food on her family's table. Although Lagos residents are yet to receive the grains the federal government promised to distribute through states to cushion the effects of the current economic hardship, the news has brought hope to Eunice.
I have those people that are looking on to me. So by sharing the grains, the food stuff, at least it will help them, it will go a long way.
Just like Eunice, some Lagos residents say distribution of the 42,000 metric tons of grains across all states of the Federation is a step in the right direction.
I would like to appeal to whoever is in charge, from federal government coming down to the state level to local government and to everyone that will be in charge. So please ensure it gets to the right people.
You know, the family size matters too. So if the family size is large, then they should be considered for more.
Government says it will work with the National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA) and the Department of State Service (DSS) to ensure the grains get to the right people in the right packages and quantities.
We should also start using technology. ICC has improved tremendously in the last 30 years. To me, this is the time we should use our identities, NIN, BVN, and all those means of identity, coordinate them and use them for events like this.
Apart from the distribution of grains, the federal government says 58,500 metric tons of milled rice from mega rice millers will be released into the market for stabilization.
And African countries, no doubt, has immense potential and opportunities, from diverse cultures, youthful population to natural resources, making the continent a fertile ground for business opportunities. How then can Nigerian entrepreneurs tap into these opportunities despite the challenges? Larry Belay has details.
Successive governments in Nigeria have been emphasizing on the need for economic diversification, with the understanding of looking for new El Dorado to explore. Areas often overlooked are now beckoning. Such is business dealings across African countries, starting with contiguous countries using the foundations laid down by economic communities of each region.
So I've traveled a bit within the African continent, and in most places I get to, you will always find Nigerian products. If it's not profitable, they won't be doing it. And the mineral sector, if we start to add value, put preservation in place, process our local foods, there are sectors that can employ millions of people, millions of youth.
The unique complexities of these African nations, which includes inadequate infrastructure, political instability, and limited access to capital, are parts of the challenges.
If I'm going to be exporting, because I saw some good things in Dakar, I said, okay, let me just explore that axis and see what's happening there. So that was why I chose to come by road. And at every border post, starting from coming out of Senegal, I paid 5,000 CFA. Next door was Mali, 5,000 CFA. And we kept paying like that.
Trading with somebody in Cameroon or with Kenya, you're trading in dollars. You're fine. So, you don't have a common currency in Africa.
Despite these challenges, business can still flourish in Africa. These Nigerian businessmen and women are convinced that with Africa's youthful demographic advantage, entrepreneurs could tap into developing products tailored towards the needs of these young adults. Meanwhile, Nigeria's move towards digital economy has been described as a major step to reducing traveling across borders, while handshake deals will now be online. Rapid urbanization on its part is making most African countries the economic hubs of which small and medium-scale business owners could explore to grow their nation's economy. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
And we're done from Lagos for now. The news will continue with Dibabari in Port Harcourt after this time out. Please stay with us.
Welcome to Port Harcourt. Governor Siminalayi Fubara has promised to give adequate attention to the education sector to sustain standards and quality learning in the state. The governor made the assertion while inaugurating the governing council of Ignatius Ajero University of Education and River State University at Government House, Port Harcourt. Osinachi Samuel reports.
The governor has also announced a revisit to the suspended employment process at Ignatius Ajero University of Education, Rumolumini. During the inauguration of the boards, the governor advised members who are to oversee the employment process against violating the initial approval of 869 staff only, with quotas specified for the academic and non-academic staff.
With this pronouncement, that employment exercise should commence, but it must be strictly on the basis of initial approval.
Pro-Chancellor of Ignatius Ajero University of Education, Chief Adokie Amesemaka, expressed profound gratitude of members of the governing board for finding them worthy of such noble assignments.
Very happy that you believe in excellence, and so we will endeavor to ensure that by the grace of God, we give you and our beloved state an excellent tertiary institution.
While inaugurating the Governing Council of River State University under the Pro-Chancellorship of Justice Mary Odele, Governor Fubara expressed trust in the capacity of the members of the Governing Council of the universities to bring about positive changes in the institutions. They are expected to also contribute their quota to improving the general education standard in the state. In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
The All Progressives Congress APC in River State says it is concerned about the perceived slow pace in governance and a deviation from the state government's mantra of consolidation and continuity. Caretaker Committee Chairman of APC in River State, Tony Okocha, at a news briefing in Port Harcourt, also alleged that Governor Siminalayi Fubara is bridging statutory provisions in some key areas. Kingsley Amajiri has details.
After critical examination of the activities of this government, we have come to the conclusion that hardly had 3 months passed after he assumed office as governor, did the governor deviate completely from that vision.
The last 9 months, he says, has witnessed Thanksgiving services across the local government areas, which have little bearing with issues of governance.
For 9 months, he does not have SEC. He does not have the assembly working with him. He doesn't want to work with the assembly at all. He does not have local government.
The APC Caretaker Committee Chairman, who also alleged that local government council funds have not been released by the administration, called for election for local government councils expected to be due for a new administration in June 2024. Tony Okocha says, as the Caretaker Committee Chairman of APC, the main opposition party in River State, the onus is on him to speak for the interests of the populace, providing constructive criticism where the government is seemingly not doing well. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. It's back to Elizabeth for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Now, more than 80% of any nation's economy is run on roads. This is what the Anambra state government is keeping fit with, as the fortunes of the state is presently experiencing an upward swing due to the state government investment on road construction and rehabilitation. Ndemkalo has details.
Before now, road users in Anambra state experienced nightmares while plying the roads due to their deplorable state. Among the deplorable roads were the Amansi Ebenebe Oba Family Road, Unizik Thameside Road, Miata Nzam Road, Okpoko Roads, among others. The state of the roads were giving concerns to people around the areas as their socio-economic lives were greatly affected. Coming into office barely 2 years, the present administration under Governor Chukwuma Soludo allocated greater percentage of the state budget on roads in order to build quality and durable roads.
The road was very terrible before now. It was impassable. If you are passing here towards evening, you will find it difficult to pass because of the kind of traffic jam. When road is bad, you experience a lot of traffic jam. But the governor has really done well that we have such a smooth road, not just smooth, but it's quality.
Every time people are fighting because there's no road. The road is too small and scattered. So, but for now, the road is very, very fine. In fact, we are happy.
On this road, business are freely going. Nothing like you want to buy something, and in fact, immediately he finishes this road, people begin to build more shops. It's a very big development.
Presently, 247 kilometers of roads have been asphalted and completed out of the over 400 kilometers of roads under construction and rehabilitation, reviving the socio-economic activities of the people. The people are optimistic that the promise by the governor that the roads are guaranteed to last at least 20 years will be a reality, having turned the state into one construction site. In Awka, Ndemkalo, NTA News.
And Chinyere Fesio is standing by in Awka to tell us more on the gains of this stride. Chinyere, thank you for joining us on Nationwide.
Thank you for having me from the state capital. Good road network is one of the critical infrastructures that is needed for rapid economic social development of the nation and the state, including Anambra State. And to this end, Governor Chukwuma Soludo, during his electioneering campaign, promised massive road construction and infrastructure across Anambra State. And living up to his promise upon assumption of office on March 17, 2022, the governor declared a state of emergency on roads in the 21 local government areas of the state. He mapped out 450 kilometers of road for construction and rehabilitation. And as I'm talking to you this afternoon, about 250 kilometers have been completed and inaugurated. And latest on the list is the Port Harcourt and Niger Streets 5.1 kilometer roads in Onitsha that were just inaugurated on the 13th of this month. And just yesterday, 26 kilometers of road, Amansi Ebenebe, Ubene Ubenu Agrarian Community was also inaugurated. Then a few hours ago, the governor and his team were at Nnewi, the industrial city of Anambra State, where they inaugurated another 3.2 kilometer Obuno Eze Hotel Road. And all these roads that have been inaugurated are actually giving the people a sigh of relief, those who have been living in nightmares all these years due to dilapidated structures of the road.
I want to thank you for the comprehensive breakdown. Thank you for your time. Now to data harmonization. Plans are on to develop a system that will harmonize data of all ministries, departments and agencies, as well as facilitate data exchange. The Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, says a framework for building this system that will ensure transparency and save cost of governance will be visible in the next 6 months. ICT correspondent Chimdimma Ondubisi reports.
Nigeria is reputed globally as a country that has made strides in entrenching use of digital technology, especially in government services. The challenge, however, is that important data sets are domiciled in individual ministries, departments and agencies in isolation. Lack of data sharing and duplication are the outcomes. So, at the second edition of Devs in Government Summit, a community of technologists in civil service, discussions are on building collaborations for data exchange as the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy strategizes to build a framework for data harmonization and sharing platform. The benefits the minister says are enormous.
It's easier for any part of government to be able to see what is happening in the entire country. It also helps with policy making as well, so that when we're making policies, we know we're using factual data sets to make policy. The other benefit of it is also in taking out duplication. At the end of the day, we harmonize even our form of ID.
Confederation of data at the point where they meet, they must be easily interoperable.
Building standard and framework that MDAs will strictly adhere to guard against cyber attacks is considered a priority in this project so as to protect government and personal data. In Abuja, Chimdima Dubisi, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on NTA. Let's head to Enugu, where Comfort is standing by with some reports.
And welcome to Enugu Network Center. In a bid to ensure food security, the Enugu state government has approved 15,000 hectares of land for agriculture in Isuzo local government area of the state. Chika Ugu reports that the deal was sealed with the signing of a memorandum of understanding.
Speaking shortly after the signing of the MOU, the state governor, Dr. Peter Mba, said the partnership is significant as agriculture is a veritable tool for the growth of the state's gross domestic products. This milestone will enable youths to be gainfully engaged in agriculture and agro-allied businesses. Represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Chidiebere Onya, said his administration is hopeful to achieving 0% poverty headcount index as well as reducing hunger in the state.
Enugu State only transacts business with serious-minded investors. We have done our due diligence and we are confident that the commitments, the conditions precedent to signing this agreement, which is to have the capacity to move to site right away, is something that you have committed to doing.
Earlier, the chief executive of Ugwanama Farms commended the government's commitment to diversifying the state's economy through agriculture. He explained that by the agreement, which will end in 2 years, his farms are expected to create about 200,000 to 300,000 jobs.
In no time, we are going to develop the 15,000 hectares and request for more. So basically, our cultivation there is what is a comparative advantage to any people.
Commissioner for Agriculture and Agro-Industrialization, Patrick Uburu, expressed the state government's readiness to partner with investors in agriculture and agro-allied businesses locally and internationally. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo has received the final report of the Truth, Peace and Justice Commission inaugurated by his administration to investigate the remote and immediate cause of insecurity in the state and the southeast region, with a promise to fully implement the recommendations. Ndebkalo reports.
The final report, as presented by the chairman of the commission, Professor Chido Dinkalo, shows that the highest cause of violence, especially in the state and southeast, is the political economy of land. He noted that the commission surveyed 66 communities in Anambra, documenting cases of members of communities who disappeared and remain missing, among others. He reiterated the need to end the use of the term unknown gunmen as people causing violence are known, while recommending a 25-year security strategy to reform community governance and create an agency for the protection of victims and accountability for violence.
This is not a terrorism issue. This is first and foremost a crime management and crime control issue. And part of what we are recommending for is actually alternative dispute resolution.
Governor Soludo, who described the report as a national framework for addressing security challenges, emphasized the need for total collaboration to address the criminal activities across the region.
There's truth, justice, and peace. There have
peace without truth and justice. And that road to have a sustainable security, sustainable peace in Anambra and the southeast is laid out here. It's going to be a huge work. Probably take years, but we'll have to make a very strong commitment. Our commitment is that we'll take this extremely very serious.
The Commission has representatives of the United Nations Development Programme from the Government House, Oka, Ndem Kalo, NTA News.
That's a package from here. Taking a break now, Nationwide continues in Abuja thereafter. Do join us again.
Welcome back. In a swift response to the devastating fire incident at one of the Muna unofficial internally displaced persons camps, the State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, has provided essential aids to meet the needs of victims. Pauline Kujivana has details.
The fire, which left approximately 760 households homeless, struck at a sensitive time when the affected internally displaced persons are observing the fasting period. Understanding the urgent need for sustenance to break their fast, iftar, and for the pre-dawn meal, suhoor, SEMA, under the leadership of the Director General, Muhammad Saidu Barkindo, personally distributed the essential food items and water. The relief package included bread, maize and wheat flour, domestic and drinking water, as well as cash support to cater for the dietary needs of the fasting victims.
We are still on the process of assessment, but considering the Ramadan period and also considering they have lost almost all their property, His Excellency Professor Babagana Umar Zulum directed me to come and give them immediate response for bringing another response.
Some of the victims who had been scavenging through the rubble to salvage whatever remained of their belongings were seen making alternative arrangements for shelter and cooking to utilizing the aid received from SEMA.
We lost everything in the fire. Right now, I am trying to start a fire, hoping that my husband will bring something back from SEMA so I can cook.
The calamity struck at a time when the victims were already vulnerable, taking refuge in makeshift camp, hence the quick and compassionate response from SEMA. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
And that report ends Nationwide today. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Good evening.